In this video, I'm gonna share with you my curriculum choices for my second grader and for my fourth grader. I'm gonna do them together because second and fourth grade are kind of close together and it's just easier to do it this way. Plus, I already did my family curriculum picks, which I'm gonna stick the video up here as well as down in the description box below. So make sure you check those out if you wanna see what we're doing for science and history and writing and Bible and that kind of stuff. We definitely unit study, and we definitely incorporate everyone in the household, including my youngest daughter who has Down syndrome. Now, this video, once again, focusing on second and fourth grader. So let me just start with language arts. For my second grader, we're gonna continue with the All About Spelling program, which I have used for all my kids. It's very effective. In fact, for her, I think I'm gonna go ahead and purchase the third grade All About Spelling curriculum. It really lays down the foundation so much that both of my boys that are in fourth grade and sixth grade this upcoming school year, I'm not doing spelling with them because they're really good at it. The only curriculum that I use from The Good and the Beautiful is handwriting. And I am using this with my second grade daughter. She is definitely ready for some cursive. Here we go, beginning cursive. I know there's a serious debate with The Good and the Beautiful. I get it, I understand both sides of it, but their handwriting, it's quality. Actually, all of their curriculum is quality. It just takes a lot of time. And that's why we've decided not to use like their regular language arts and their math as their main curriculum because of how much teacher involvement it takes. However, as you'll see in just a little bit, what I'm using with my daughter for math is very involved, but I'll explain why and why I choose to use that curriculum. Handwriting, Good and the Beautiful, starting cursive with my second grader. Also for my second grader, I'm gonna be using this curriculum right here, was his first language lessons for a well-trained mind. I use this with all my kids. I'm not gonna go word for word in here because I'm familiar with this curriculum and I'm pulling out the stuff that I wanna do, which is teaching the grammar and then memorization. I love the memorization with the helping verbs and the linking verbs. In fact, if you look behind me, I have the prepositions on the wall for my kids to go through. Aboard, about, above, beyond. They have it all memorized. And if they forget, I just kind of go, book. We're gonna continue with Explode the Code. She's zooming through this. She's probably gonna finish all of it. She does like 3 lessons in a day. I'm not joking, she likes it, so just gonna let that happen. Now this is one you probably never heard of before, and I found this kind of on accident because I'm thinking about her as a person. She loves animals, she loves Beatrix Potter, she loves Aesop's Fables, and I just thought this was way too perfect. And in the description, it said that it was a Charlotte Mason curriculum with a little bit of a classical education like edge to it, which is kind of what we are. So this is the autumn book. And this is an example of the beginning of week 6. You read this little poem to him. It is Emily Dickinson. And on day 1, you're gonna practice writing the date as well as going over some vocabulary words. And this is a story from Aesop's Fable, which you can find free online. So I didn't have to purchase that book. Then they draw it. What I do with my daughter is I do beginning, middle, end, like 3 squares. And I have her draw each square out. That's what I use, but there's different things that you can do to have them maybe draw their favorite part of the story. And on this side, you have copy work. It's very strong, good copy work, and I'm really excited about that because I got a curriculum like this for my son, my first son, when he was in second grade. That was similar to this. It was second grade. It was learning literature through language arts. It's an amazing curriculum. I think, honestly, I'll probably do it with my youngest daughter. The lady who wrote it, her daughter did have, I believe she had dyslexia, but that's besides the point. It didn't have strong copy work, and I found myself filling in, supplementing. It was just kind of not, the curriculum didn't work for us. But if anyone does have special needs, learning disabilities, dyslexia, it was perfect because it was such a gentle approach. And like I said, I loved it because it was a unit study. That's another reason we used it and I loved it. But because it was written specifically for children that need that gentle approach. And that's my opinion though. I don't know what they say, but that's my opinion and what I saw from it. This one, not so much. This is very solid copy work. And then here they're teaching you the phonogram ow. She has to read through the words and then she has to write them out. One thing about Charlene Mason that is really pretty cool is the artist study. So we do that on our own using the internet. They have some resources there online, some more copy work, adding suffixes to one-syllable words. So we're doing a little more grammar. On day 3, we got another story, vocabulary, copy work, drawing a series of pictures. This one is a picture study and dictation on day 4, and then some rhyming words. And it looks like day 5 is just a drawing page. They're really big into pushing notebooking, nature study, which honestly my daughter is all into that. And my boys weren't into that, so I never did it with them, but my daughter's into it, and so I'm just gonna go with it. Why not? But that's the thing too, is if your child is not into nature studies and you've tried a couple weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, 6, whatever, they're still not into it, maybe nature study is not the thing to do with them. But my daughter, we do nature studies, so. So once again, this is Cottage Press, Language Lessons for Children. So the one really good thing about this curriculum, if you buy one, it's cheap, it's not that expensive, but you're not buying the whole bundle. So you can buy autumn, and then you can wait to see if you like it, and then buy winter, which I already bought winter, because we actually have already started it. I couldn't wait. Okay, for my 4th grader, which is my son, he does do a lot of his language arts with his, brother. But I do want to get him started on this book. First, Language Lessons for the Well-Trained Mind. I went through this book with my other son, and it's phenomenal. They teach diagramming, and I loved it. Now we are finishing up Fix It Grammar right now. We're gonna probably finish that through the summer. And then I'm gonna start on this book. And I'm actually thinking about having my other son also do a diagramming type, very gentle, something gentle, not intense, because he is doing IEW. And my 2nd grade son, because we're talking about my 2nd grade son here, is going to be doing All Things Fun and Fascinating IEW at the local co-op. That's IEW team. I love IEW, trust me. And that Fun and Fascinating is a great curriculum because we did that with my soon-to-be 6th grader. It's a really good, solid one. Good stories in there. Works really well with that 4th and 5th grade level. Now for Bible, my 4th grade is the only one reading this book. I recommended it to Wendy at Plan Prep Pray because I am having, both of my boys are reading the Priscilla books. These are the Prince Warrior set, and they love them. So Wendy actually, she bought the set and went ahead and bought the devotional, and in one of her videos, she talks about the devotional, and I'm like, dude, seriously, why didn't I get the devotional? My kids love the book. Get the devotional. Well, my 6th grader hasn't really gotten into this, and my 3rd grader, who's going to be 4th grader, is kind of doing this. He's hanging on to it and not really sharing right now, which I hope there is a chapter in here about sharing, because that might be appropriate. He is also going through Who is God series with my older son. I am loving it. This is our 2nd time through it. You can see it's used. Really good. For handwriting, my soon-to-be 4th grader is working through Exploring Handwriting Through Astronomy. And this is the cursive edition. I do like this curriculum a lot because number 1, it is Christian-based, and number 2, it's theme-based. Speaking of science, he is going to be sitting in on my middle school astronomy class next year, but he is going to be taking a class on inventions and their inventors, which is loosely based on the Gather Around curriculum. Gather Around curriculum is awesome. Okay, don't get me, it's good. The majority of it is good. And with the unit studies in general, they usually last, I don't know what, 4 to 6 weeks approximately, but they're stretching this concept of inventors and inventions for the whole year. So using just the Gather Around curriculum is not gonna cut it. They're kind of basing it off of that. So that's what he's going to be doing for science this year, as well as our unit studies, and you can check out our family curriculum picks video in the description box below. I also mentioned that he is doing roots in another one of my videos. My other daughter, my 2nd grader, is also doing roots, but hers is not as extensive as his. He actually not only has the page, and we just started this too. So that's why it's probably gonna take the whole year. He has some worksheets that he completes. She doesn't have the worksheets, and hers aren't. Let me pull hers out. This is hers. So with roots, like this is what she's doing. Graph means write. Nice and pretty, she colored it while we're talking about it. She does this all while we're talking about it. You know, here's another one. Photo, light, photo, light. She likes to color. Totally different than my boys, like for real, totally different than my boys. Okay, math. We're gonna go into math now, and both my 4th grade boy and my 2nd grade daughter have very different, they're different, okay? For my 2nd grade daughter, we have been struggling tremendously with math. And we went through the Make Math Meaningful program. We finished 1st grade, and then we started to jump into 2nd grade, and she was not ready for the 2nd grade curriculum. So I decided I was gonna take her back and do another 1st grade curriculum. It was a basic, just like workbook, because I figured we could do a basic workbook. No, it didn't work for her either. And so I started digging and doing some research, knowing her personality. Because again, as a homeschool parent, we need to be listening to our children and seeing how they learn, what causes them to learn the concepts. Is it kinesthetic? Is it auditory? Is it just by visual? Is it by writing things down, which is kinesthetic, but it's visual too, and it's all of them. So I noticed with her that she needs to be either writing it down or using her hands to move things about and draw. That's how she learns. Doing worksheets all day is not gonna cut it for her. That's just not how she learns. So I looked into this curriculum and I decided to get it. It's called Right Start Math. This is their games. Now, this game book right here can last, you know, all the way through 8th grade. I believe 8th grade. I don't know. Some of these games are fun for me to play, so might as well go with like till they're an adult. Can you imagine game night when you're an adult and you're pulling this book out? And there's a lot of card games and manipulatives that you do or probably just want to purchase to go along with curriculum. They do help tremendously. I can't stress that enough. The only downfall is that you do need to read the instructions before you sit down with your child to do this. And it does take time, but if your child is struggling with math and needs something like this in order to learn, it's worth it. This is the actual curriculum book. And they're really big on the whole, you know, abacus thing. There's a lot of oral stuff going on using the abacus. This one uses the balance on this side. You know, here's another example. You're gonna be using tiles. I don't have tiles. I have like little chips. It's the same kind of idea. So I do substitute chips for tiles, but it's the same idea. These are really cool because they're the place value cards, and my daughter really struggles with place value. So this really kind of helps, you know, solidify, get that concept in her brain. And this is the workbook. It's very thin. So you can see the majority of Right Start Math is oral and kinesthetic and conversation. It does take a lot of time on my part. I think I sit with her anywhere between 30 minutes, no, it's like 30 minutes roughly. It just kind of depends what kind of day she's having with math. Some days she'll zoom right through it and it's like 15 minutes that I sit down with her. Some days it's like 30 minutes. It's like kind of pulling teeth a little bit, but she's getting it though. She's getting it. For my other son, he has just been through so many different curriculums to the point where I feel like I have done him a disservice, but we've been really consistent this year. And we started him on teaching textbooks, which actually raised his test scores from a 2nd grade level all the way up to, I'm thinking it's like a 4th grade level. I can't remember exactly, but I did make a video on it with the exact numbers. If you want to see it, it's in the iCard and the description box below. But I do actually want to supplement next year when I do the next level of teaching textbooks. Now I've used a little bit of this. This is 5 times 5 is not 10. He really struggles with memorizing his multiplication. We've done flashcards. We've tried to bribe him. I got lazy, let's be honest. So I'm gonna be more on top of this one right here. And we found a really, really cool game that's free to download called Sushi Monster. And I have him play that for 15 minutes a day where he's just matching multiples. And it's fun. I'm kind of sick of the music now, but hey, you know what? It's math. Now, since we're using Explode the Code and all about spelling, I do want to continue a little bit here and there with some kind of phonics program for my second grader. Okay. It's been well loved. The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Reading, I've used it. I don't need the table of contents anymore. Apparently I don't need 1 through 8 either. We have been going through this. She is actually around, right now, currently, around 114. And we just kind of keep chugging through. Like, there's no stopping until you get to the very end, which quite honestly, I think we finished this book with my son when he was in 3rd grade. I mean, because some of these words like considerable, condemnation, recreational organization. And at that point, if they can read those words, you know, I think at that point they got the foundations and they can pretty much figure it out from there. So we'll keep doing this book, but not every day. See, we don't do the phonics program every single day. And when we do, honestly, it takes like 15 minutes to go through. It's not very intense at all. It's very, very gentle. The real way that I teach her to read at this point, 2nd grade, is by getting her to read real books. Now, we kind of go along with the flow with this. So for example, we are gonna be doing botany. And there's a list of books that you can find online with the Botany Apologia curriculum. They have books. And I'm gonna get those books and we're gonna read those books. Same with the Flying Creatures Apologia. We're gonna get those books, she's gonna read those books, great. She also really, really likes to get the National Geographic books from the library. She loves animals. Here's an example of one of them. This is a level 1. You can read, oh, I love these because it's the You Read, I Read series. Oh my gosh, because she likes to curl up next to me and read her books. Tadpole to Frog. And I'll be honest, this is more for, I would say, 1st grader, but they have some for 2nd graders as well. Babies grow up. So in other words, like the parent reads this and then she reads baby change as they grow. And then we just kind of discuss what we see on the page together. It's science, a little bit of extra science there. It's bonding and it's phonics and reading and literature and just, we're units. I'm a unit studier. Like, I guess that's what you call me. So I'm also gonna share with you for my 4th grader, he likes to get books like this and just read them, right? Encyclopedia of Animals. It sounds like an encyclopedia, and that's what it is. But this is from the library, but I'm totally gonna buy this book after getting it. They have all these names, and they divide them up by like invertebrates, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So you skim through, I know, I love this guy. Every time I see this, I think of Ant-Man, how he almost got eaten. So I do like to take my kids to the library and let them pick out their own books because they like stuff, and I let them pick out the books that they like, and then they get an education, and the library is great. But I do have books that I do want them reading. Now my 4th grader does kind of follow along a lot with my 6th grader. So one of the books that I want my 6th grader to read was Percy Jackson. Now somebody left a comment on my video before about Percy Jackson. I didn't realize how intricate Percy Jackson got, and so I had to do some research. They mentioned that there was a lifestyle that I may or may not agree with that happens to one of the characters. So I started doing some research and discovered that the Percy Jackson series, because apparently there's more than one series that we're reading, does not have anything like that in it. So I feel like, okay, with my 4th grader, we have not discussed that, and I want to be the one to introduce that concept to him. Is it a concept? Would you call it a concept? I don't know. Point being is we're doing Percy Jackson, and we're gonna be studying ancient Greece as well alongside of that, as well as the Bible alongside of that. So that's exciting. We've got these books that I want him to read, Railroad Children and Jericho Rider. These are Christian themed books. And I'm also gonna look through our ancient Greece and ancient Rome Truth Quest curriculum for some fiction that my kids can read. And they do, they have some ideas. So for example, this is not his level, but you can see fiction. And here's one that's at his level, Hand of Apollo. Now see, and this is a really good curriculum because it is written by a Christian author and it is Christian based. So a lot of the literature that they suggest in here is, I guess you could say, kosher. You know, you really don't have to worry too much about it being inappropriate, which is is good. In fact, I really super appreciate when you guys leave comments down below letting me know if you think a book may or may not be appropriate, because I don't have time to check all these books, man. Like someone mentioned in my last video that holes may not be appropriate, and I remember that we taught it in 6th grade at the school that I went to, or that I taught at, and I showed the movie in class, but I don't know, I just didn't really think through, I guess. I thought hey. It made me second check myself, and I don't think we're gonna be doing holes next year, or the year after, or really, actually, probably not gonna do it at all, I'll just be honest. Now for my 2nd grade daughter, she loves animals, so I love these, the Christian Liberty Nature Reader. So I have this one that my son, read through. Well, he read through this one too. It's well loved as well. I might just buy her a new one. I think there's food in here, but it's about animals. I have a level 2, I also have a level 3. We're also working through the Beatrix Potter series now. We're probably gonna finish that before next year, but that's also a really good one. I love these Frog and Toad books. And then of course, Little Bear. This one's fun. All of these I Can Read book series, from the early 90s, whatever, the I Can Read series. Really, really good. If you can find something that's interesting to your child within those books, then you got it, you got it. So this is it for my 2nd and 4th grade curriculum picks that they are doing individually. And you can check out our family picks as well. Thank you guys for staying to the end. If you have any questions, let me know. Or seriously, if you have any book suggestions or just any of that stuff, hey, leave that comment down below. My name is Ailani. This is our channel, Living with Eve, and I'm gonna stick some videos on my face right now. If you haven't subscribed, make sure and subscribe, because we have fun here. That's why you should subscribe. No, but seriously, this is our journey as a homeschool family. I'm a former public and private school teacher. I do evaluation in the state of Florida. My youngest daughter has Down syndrome, and we're just trying to figure this thing out together. We're here to support, encourage, communicate. So leave me a comment down below. I'm pretty good at checking them, and until then, I will see you in our next video. Bye.